You know that moment when you walk into the kitchen to tidy up and 15 minutes later, you're standing there overwhelmed, unsure where to start, staring at a mess that somehow feels bigger than your brain can handle? Or when you're late for something again and you're tearing through the house trying to find your keys only to discover them in the fridge, right next to yesterday's coffee cup and that thing that you meant to put away last week. If this sounds familiar, you are not alone. I'm Sara Kelly. I'm an ADHD coach who works with smart, capable women who often look like they have it all together, but inside they're overwhelmed, exhausted, and constantly trying to hold their lives together with sticky notes and sheer willpower. If that sounds like you, you're in the right place. Today, we're diving into why household management feels so overwhelming when you have ADHD, especially if you are the default parent, the one everyone relies on to keep life running. We're going to talk about why clutter keeps piling up, what's really going on behind those doom piles, why you're so tired of being the one who remembers everything, and how to start making this whole thing more manageable. Let me introduce you to a client of mine. We'll call her Megan. She's a mid-40s professional, 2 kids, works full-time, and somehow knows the location of every family member's stuff at any given moment. Her partner helps, but she's still the one juggling birthday parties, dentist appointments, pet meds, school forms, and what's for dinner. Her house looks fine to visitors, but underneath the surface, she's drowning. Drawers overflowing, baskets of clean laundry getting rewashed because they got forgotten, and piles, so many piles of things she meant to deal with later. And the resentment, that was real, not because she didn't love her family, but because the mental load never stopped. This is such a common story with the women that I work with. You're doing everything right, you care deeply, you try so hard, but at the end of the day, you're still surrounded by mess and to-dos, and no one seems to notice how much you're carrying. So here's what I want you to know. This isn't a failure of effort. It's a mismatch between how your brain works and what your life is demanding from you. So let's break it down. Household management isn't one task. It's a never-ending chain of micro tasks. Noticing that something needs to be done, deciding when and how to do it, remembering to do it, actually doing it, and then following up. For an ADHD brain, especially one that's already stretched thin, that's the perfect recipe for overwhelm. Working memory, which is like your brain's post-it note system. It's often impaired with ADHD. So naturally things fall through the cracks, or you try to hold everything together in your head until you can't anymore, and then you crash. And that's exactly why it can feel like your brain just quits halfway through unloading the dishwasher or folding laundry. Then there's the time blindness. You start one chore, then notice something else needs doing. And suddenly you're an hour in and nothing is actually finished. And that sense of never completing anything, it chips away at your confidence over time. And then there's a sensory overload. You know that thing where the clutter isn't just annoying, it's actually loud? Like it can feel noisy just looking at it. That's a real thing with ADHD. Visual clutter is overwhelming. It adds to the mental load. And for many women I work with, that clutter becomes emotionally charged. You look at a pile and it doesn't just remind you of the task, it reminds you of the dozens of ways you think that you're failing. That's heavy. That's not just housekeeping. That's shame, pressure, and mental load all wrapped up in a stack of unopened mail. Now let's talk about those doom piles. They are not laziness. They are often a result of decision fatigue. When your executive function is tapped out and your brain just can't make one more choice. But they're also a form of visual memory. Sometimes we leave things out where we can see them because we're afraid we're going to forget them otherwise. Out of sight can really mean out of mind with ADHD. So that pile might actually be your brain's attempt to not forget something important. The trick is, over time, what was meant to be a reminder becomes visual noise. So you're stuck between not wanting to lose track of it and feeling overwhelmed every time you see it. And there's something else that no one tells you. If you're the one in the household doing the noticing, we're out of toothpaste, the permission slip is due, the towels smell musty again, then your brain never gets a break. You're doing mental gymnastics 24/7. And when you do ask for help, you might hear things like, just make a list, or why don't you ask me for what you need, which can feel even more exhausting. Because you don't just need help doing things, you need help tracking them and remembering them and caring about them all the time. So what can you do when you're already maxed out? Here are a few mindset shifts and strategies that actually work with your brain and not against it. Number 1, externalize everything. Don't try to remember it all. Use a whiteboard in the kitchen, a voice note app, sticky notes, whatever works. Your brain wasn't meant to hold this much on its own. Number 2, label the piles neutrally. Instead of calling it a doom pile, call it decision pending or to file. Reducing shame can actually help you approach the task more calmly. Number 3, create tiny, obvious homes for commonly lost items, like a basket by your door for your keys and sunglasses. Don't rely on your memory, rely on routine and visibility. Number 4, pick one thing to automate. Maybe it's a weekly family meeting to review schedules. Maybe it's setting alarms to switch to laundry. Small automations equal fewer mental tabs open. Number 5, name the resentment. If you're holding the emotional and logistical load for your household, that deserves attention. ADHD doesn't mean you have to keep doing everything alone, because resentment is a signal, not a flaw. Number 6, build in recovery time. You're not a robot. ADHD brains burn energy fast. Schedule in breaks and rest without guilt, because at the end of the day, the house can wait. Your nervous system matters more. Number 7, accept good enough systems. Perfectionism often sneaks in disguise as planning. Let your systems be simple, even messy, as long as they work. Because a laundry routine that's 80% consistent is still better one that only exists in your head. Number 8, share the load, emotionally and practically. Whether it's with a partner, a friend, or a coach, say the hard part out loud. I feel like I'm the only one keeping this house running and it's exhausting. Let it be heard. If this is hitting home and you're tired of feeling like you're barely keeping up, you can book a free call with me. We'll talk about where you're stuck and how we can build simple systems that actually work for your brain. There's a link in the description of this video to book that free call with me. Because you're not lazy, you're managing more than most people can see. And just because you've always done it alone, it doesn't mean you have to keep doing it that way. You're allowed to ask for help. You're allowed to have systems that feel easy. You're allowed to stop proving your worth by how much you can juggle. And no, your systems don't have to be color-coded and Pinterest-worthy. They just need to work for you. If this video helped, again, there is a link to book a free call with me. You don't have to carry this all on your own. If this video spoke to you, please save it, send it to someone you love, like, subscribe, and I will see you in the next video.